Hey everyone, and welcome back. With the Into the Abyss update out now, I wanted to show you some of my favorite base locations in Grounded 2, including both older spots that are still absolutely worth building at and some of the newer locations around the updated areas. And don't worry, I'll keep the video spoiler free, so if you're a new player, you won't get any unwanted information about the story progression or similar things. And some places are really great for resources, some give you tons of space to build, and others are simply in a really useful position on the map basically. So whether you're looking for a new main base or just some inspiration for your next build, there should be something here for you. Now grab yourself something to drink and to snack, because we are starting right into it. Starting off with location number 1, we have the Holo tree bark. And this is probably one of the best all-arounder locations on this list. The biggest advantage here is definitely the location itself. You are very central on the map, so getting pretty much anywhere you need doesn't take too long. You also have a really good amount of resources around you, which makes building and constantly restocking your base much easier. You have a lab pretty close by, which is always convenient, but what I really like about this spot is the amount of flat ground you get. You don't have to spend ages making some complicated foundations just to get your base started. You can build something pretty big here without too much trouble. There is one pretty important downside though. There is a scorpion roaming around in this area, so especially early on, you probably don't want to leave your base completely open. I definitely recommend putting up some proper walls and defense as soon as possible. But if you can deal with the scorpion, this is an amazing central base location with great resources and plenty of room to build. Location number 2 is right under the park bench. And if you're somebody who likes building massive bases, this might actually be one of the best base locations for you. Resource-wise, this place is basically perfect. You have plenty of useful materials nearby, there's a little puddle directly in front of you, and there's even a lab. And once you clear out the orc scorpion, that lab gives you access to an infinite water source, which makes living here incredibly convenient. The biggest reason I like this location though is just how much flat space you have. If you're planning some huge castle, mansion, or basically anything where you need a huge amount of building space, you can really go crazy here without fighting against the terrain. Now, it's definitely not the most central location on the map, but honestly, does it even matter when you literally have a fast travel station right next to your base? That completely fixes one of the biggest weaknesses of this spot. So you get amazing resources, easy water, a lab, tons of flat building space, and fast travel directly nearby. For bigger builds, this location is very hard to beat. For location number 3, we are heading over to the greenhouse, and this is another really nice option if your main priority is having an easy area to actually build on. You get a really good amount of flat ground here, so you can place down a pretty large base without constantly having to compensate for weird terrain or building massive foundations underneath everything. The resources around this area are also really solid, so overall it's a very comfortable location to live in. I actually already built a base at this location before, so if this location looks interesting to you and you want to see what you can build here, definitely check out my last building video or the short I made specifically about this location. That should give you a much better idea of what you can actually do in this space. The main disadvantage here is that the ranger outpost isn't exactly close. So compared to some of the other locations on this list, you do have to travel a little bit more when you need one. But apart from that, this is a really easy, reliable base spot with good resources and plenty of room to build. Location number 4 is the tree close to the ice cream chart, and this is probably one of my favorite locations if you want something central, but also a bit more interesting to build, I would say. First of all, the resource situation here is really good, so you have plenty of materials around you and you're very central, which means getting around the map is incredibly easy. You're also pretty close to the pond area and there's a lab nearby as well. So you have a lot of useful things within a fairly short distance. Another massive advantage of building up here is the height. This tree is an amazing location for setting up zipline anchor points. You can connect different areas of the map to your base and basically turn this into your own little transportation hub. The downside is that building here is definitely more difficult than building on one of the flat locations from earlier. You probably have to put more thought into the foundations, platforms, and how you actually wanna wrap the base around the tree. But if you enjoy more creative builds, I think this is actually perfect for you. Now for location number 5, we're getting into the new areas added with the Into the Abyss update. Starting right here at the pond area, with really close access to the pumpkin patch. And I think this is a really interesting place to build, especially if you want your base to be close to all of the new content. You can get a really good amount of resources around here, including a lot of the newer resources from the new update, which makes this a very convenient spot. While you're exploring and progressing through this part of the map, you're also not too far away from a ranger station, which is always nice to have close. It's definitely not the most central location compared to some of the older spots I showed you earlier, but if you're spending a lot of time exploring the new parts of the map, that really doesn't matter too much. So if you want a base close to the new Into the Abyss content, with plenty of resources and good access to the pond and the pumpkin patch, this is definitely one of the first locations I would consider. And for our final location, we have another brand new area from the Into the Abyss update, right here at the Gnarly Bark. This spot is a little different from some of the other on the list, because resource-wise it's not absolutely amazing, but it's definitely not bad. You still have a decent amount of useful materials around you, so for normal base building and restocking you should be completely fine. What I really like about this location is how peaceful it feels. Compared to some of the other areas, you don't really have any imminent danger constantly roaming right next to your base, which makes it pretty comfortable to settle down. You also see a few fireflies around here, but they are not hostile, so they actually make the area feel even nicer, especially at night. The terrain isn't completely flat, but it's still very manageable with a few foundations and a little bit of planning. You can also build something really nice here without too much trouble. And probably the biggest reason I like this location is the view. This is a really pretty area, and you can make a base here that feels much more unique than just building on another big flat field. You're also still pretty close to the pond and the newer parts of the map. And your next ranger station isn't too far away. So if you're looking for a calmer base location in one of the newer areas, with decent resources, a nice view and not too much danger around you, the Gnarly Bark is definitely a really solid choice. I hope I really could help you with finding a new base location. I would be more than happy about a like, subscription or anything else. And I hope I see you in the next video. Have an absolutely amazing day, night or whatever daytime it is. So, till next time, goodbye.